Now here's our host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Anacin, the headache remedy with a special combination of ingredients to relieve pain, fight depression, calm jittery nerves. Anacin. Now may I introduce our panel. First, Mr. Tom Poston. Next, Miss Kitty Carlisle. Then Mr. Don Ameche. And finally, Miss Polly Bergen. A little extra bit of news. Our own Tom Poston has just gone into rehearsal in a new Broadway musical comedy called, I believe, The Conquering Hero. Is that right, Tom?
That's exactly what I wish
you the best of luck. Now, panel, will you please open your affidavit envelopes, take out the affidavit cards, and follow along as I read this first one. I, Arvo Ojallah, am considered by many to be the fastest gun in the world. I have instructed dozens of top Hollywood stars of both sexes in the handling of guns, and have taught many Western actors how to draw and fire. The quick-draw holster I patented is used in 95% of the TV Westerns and by many police departments. You see me every week on television as the man who draws against Jim Arness in the opening sequence of Gunsmoke. Signed, Arvo Ojallah. Three fast guns here tonight in our first round. Quick draw expert Arvo Ojallah is the claim to fame on the part of each one of them, as you heard. Let's start this first questioning tonight with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Arvo number 3, could you tell me the origin of the name Arvo, please?
It's a Finnish extraction, and it's named after my mother's side of the family.
Then your last name is the same Ojallah as the Finnish.
That's right.
Thank you. Number 2, can you tell me how quick draw is timed in competition?
It's timed with an electronic device called the Faber device.
You seem to know a lot about it. Number 1, can you tell me what is the first order of procedure for making a quick draw as you bring your hand back?
Hooking your thumb on the hammer of the gun.
What's the purpose of that, number 1, Arvo?
Cocking the gun.
Thank you. Number 3, how is
Kitty? Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, it says here that you invented a quick draw holster. How does this differ from an ordinary draw holster?
Got a metal lining in it.
And it makes the gun slide out quicker?
Yes.
Number 2, how did you come by this kind of work?
Oh, I started shooting, I guess, when I was 8 or 9 years old, and then I got into it through stunt work, extra work, and then I saw the future in TV Westerns.
I see. Number 3, how do you patent a quick draw holster?
Well, it's done through the U.S. Patent Office.
Did you have a patent lawyer?
That's right.
How long have you had this patent?
Since 1956.
Number 1, who was your patent lawyer?
Beeler.
Number 2?
Raul Magana.
Don Ameche.
Number 2, do the stuntmen have a union now?
Yes. Well, we belong to 2 unions, as a matter of fact, SAG and AFTRA.
Number 3, how long has this union been in effect?
Well, I don't know how long the union's been in effect, but I know how long I've been in the union.
Number 1, how long does it take to shoot one of these Gunsmoke pictures? How many days?
3 days.
Number 2, would you agree with that?
Well, I was only in the first sequence, and I haven't been in any since, you see.
Number 3, would you know who produces these pictures?
Jim Arness and Company.
No,
Polly?
And number 2, you outdraw Jim Arness in that opening sequence, don't you?
Not really. I hit the dust.
Isn't your shot first?
Well, not really. He gets me, and I hit the dust.
Oh, I see.
You
I was going to say that
see
could have been one reason why you're not on anymore. Number 1, who in your estimation is the fastest draw among the Western TV stars?
Sammy Davis, Jr.
Number 3, do you agree with that?
Well, it's a toss-up between he and Frank Sinatra.
This has been a paid political announcement.
that's all the time for questioning now, so will you please get ready to mark your ballots? And panel, without consultation, as usual, mark them, voting for number 1, number 2, or number 3. And, of course, the team of challengers, as is customary, will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. Wow, Polly marked faster than anybody tonight. Tom, have you marked your ballot?
Yes,
For
I
whom did
have.
you vote?
I voted for number 3. I liked his answers, and he looks finished to me, Bud.
No ED on that, I hope.
No.
Kitty, your vote.
I voted for number 1. Number 3 does indeed look finished, but I like the way number 1 said that holster was metal-lined. It seemed as though he had great conviction and he knew what he was talking about.
Don?
I voted for number 2. I thought that his answers to do with pictures seemed the most glib.
And Polly?
Well, I guess we girls are going to stick together because I voted for number 1, mainly because Sammy is actually one of the fastest draws with a gun I've ever seen.
Really?
He's phenomenal, yes.
It's wild,
So I
but
voted
it's
for number
true.
1.
Okay, now the votes are all in, the minds are made up, and if you're playing along at home as we trust you are, then yours are made up too. Now don't cheat. Watch and see which one of these gentlemen is the quick draw expert. Will you 3 gentlemen all please stand up?
Wait a minute.
Now, will the real Arvo Ojallah please reveal his identity? Oh, boy. Number 2 and 3, we will take care of any hospitalization if you don't recover from those wounds. Number 2, would you tell us your real name and what you really do?
My name is Don Staley, and I'm an advertising representative with the Katz Agency here in New York.
And number 3, your real name and what you do, please.
My name is Cornelius Long. I'm a retired Deputy Inspector, New York City Police Department. Now the Assistant Manager, Bureau of Investigation, Saks Fifth Avenue.
Thank you, sir. In checking the score, we find there were 2 correct and 2 incorrect. It's 2 incorrect we're interested in now in totaling up the financial part of it, and that means 2 at $250 for a total of $500 from Anderson, and of course a gift box of fine products from the makers of Anderson for each of you. Gentlemen, I hope you had fun. We enjoyed greatly having you here. Good night and good luck to you. Good shooting. Now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Perry Ann Connolly.
My name is Perry Ann Connolly.
My name is Perry Ann Conerly.
Once again, panel, follow along if you will on this affidavit. I, Perry Ann Connolly, write a feature newspaper column. My column appears weekly during the professional football season on the sports page of the New York Times and papers throughout the country. I write about pro football, concentrating on the human interest aspects of the game and its players. I come by my subject legitimately, since I am the wife of the New York Giants quarterback, Charlie Conerly. Signed, Perry Ann Connolly. I heard these 3 ladies, panel, claiming to be Perry Ann Connolly, writer and wife of Charlie Conerly of the New York Giants. And let's start this round of questioning with Kitty Carlisle.
Thank
Kitty?
you, Bud. Number 1, who is Turner Catledge?
Turner Catledge? He's a pro football player.
Number 2, who is Turner Catledge?
He's one of the officials on the Football League Commission.
Number 3, who publishes the New York Times?
I don't know.
Number 1, who is the New York drama critic on the Times who retired last year after being there 30 years?
Brooks Atkinson.
Number 2, can you tell me the average age of the children, the average amount of children that the New York Giants have between them?
Oh, about 30% is the average.
And how many children belong to the whole team?
I would say 60, maybe.
Number 3, would you say they have all 60 between them?
I'd say about 40.
40.
Don?
Quite a difference.
I must disqualify myself, Bud, because It's my pleasure to say that I know Mrs. Conerly.
Oh, you do? Hold your secret. Then, of course, we'll count your vote as an incorrect one when we come to the totaling up of the scores, as we always do. Polly?
Oh, good. That means I get twice as much time to question.
That's right.
If there are 2 out and 1 left on, what do they do? Now that I've established how much I know about football, oh, I wish I was dead. Number 3, there was at one time a very famous team when I was living in California going to school, and the one man, and I don't know what he played, but his name was Davis, and there was another man who either threw or caught whatever the other man did. What was his name?
Which number did you toss that one at?
Number 3.
Number 3.
You're not talking about Sammy Davis again.
No.
No.
What do you mean, the...
Davis. He was a football player in California. Professional football player.
I know one, Glenn Davis.
That's right. That was his name. Who was the other one? Don't you dare.
Must have been a quarterback.
Tom Poston. Tom?
That's the most unfair thing I ever heard of. I only got one question. And I can't help it if they fool around and I don't get it.
Tom, go ahead.
Could you tell me, number 2, what is Savari's first name?
Savari Paul.
Number 3, what is Savari's nickname?
Swede.
Can you tell me, number 3, what are his jobs on the team?
He's a player coach.
Number 1, can you tell me what red dogging means?
Yes, that's when they try to get the passer.
I think you're absolutely right. You've been studying or something. What is a mousetrap, number 1?
Mousetrap is when the line stays and they try to fake them out.
Let me ask you something, number 1. What kept Charlie out of action the early part of this season? Remember when they were in the exhibition games? What kept him out?
I think he was okay.
He's okay. He's just great, but something...
All right, that's it. I think that's just great, too. It's time for you to mark your ballots. And so sneak yourselves an old play and mousetrap yourselves into balloting, if you will. And without consultation, vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All set? Everyone marked? Okay, Tom, for whom did you vote this trip?
Well, I tell you, I could easily be wrong, but I don't think so. Savari, I know Savari, his name is Harlan, so I didn't think it was number 2. And number 1, Charlie had some teeth pulled at the beginning of this season, if you remember. It kept him out of action for a little while, and then he got better and so forth. But I think it was number 3. That's why.
Kitty?
I voted for number 3, not about my knowledge about football, but I asked number 1 and 2 who Turner Catledge was, and they both said he was a football player. And although I didn't ask number 3, he's the managing editor of the New York Times.
Don Ameche, your vote.
I can't.
Oh, you were disqualified. Beg your pardon.
Yes.
You disqualified yourself. Polly.
I knew it was number 3. I really did, and I... No, I really did, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because when Kitty asked the question about the man to 1 and 2, and they said football, I knew it couldn't be them because she doesn't know any more about football than I do. And she couldn't have known the name, a single name of a football player.
Well, then why did you write number 2?
Well, I honest to goodness, I really don't know because I knew it was number 3. I have no idea. I think that I should be allowed.
Well, let's find out here.
And you only got one question.
We happen to have the one person here who... We have the one person here who can really decide this for us without any equivocation whatsoever. The star quarterback of the New York Giants football team himself, Charlie Conerly. All right, now... Charlie, I'm going to ask you, if you will, to identify your wife by kissing her. Charlie, a question for you. Why did you kiss them all?
Well, I just wanted to.
As good a reason as I've ever heard. They're all mighty pretty. Tell me, the New York Giants have been missing your services lately with that elbow of yours. How's it coming along, and when can we see you back in action?
Well, I hope next week. But
Feel pretty good?
Worked out today the first time in 2 weeks, so I feel a lot better, thank you.
Good. Well, that's fine. We'll be looking forward to it. Thank you both very much for being with us and helping us pull a little surprise. All right. Yes, want a question?
No, I just wanted to say that the name of that fellow who either threw or caught what that Davis, who did the other, did, was named Blanchard.
Oh, yes, sure. Mm-hmm.
And he was very famous.
Yes, famous tennis doubles team, I believe.
No, he wasn't.
Number one, would you tell us your real name before we get in another field of sports and what you really do?
Yes, my name is Ann Carter, and I'm a lieutenant, United States Navy.
Well, bless you. Panel, I want you to listen, please, while we're identifying our other. We have a lieutenant in the United States Navy right here. Number one, you didn't hear it. Number two, your real name and what you do.
My name is Kathy Tickle, and I'm a receptionist for Young and Rubicam Advertising Agency.
Thank you both very much. In checking on the score, we find there were 2 incorrect votes, counting Don's as one, at $250 each for a total of $500. And, of course, the gift package of all of the fine products from the makers of Anison. Thanks for being with us. Good night. Good luck. Now, panel, let's meet our third team of contestants.
What is your name, please?
My name is Frederick Frank.
My name is Frederick Frank.
My name is Frederick Frank.
Follow along once again, if you will, panel. I, Frederick Frank, am an artist. I am also a dentist. My paintings have hung in many of the top museums, both in this country and in Europe. As a dentist, I practice both in America and in the dental clinic at Dr. Schweitzer's hospital in Africa. I have just written and illustrated a children's book with the hospital as a background. It's called My Friend in Africa, signed Frederick Frank. Three claimants here to the identity of Frederick Frank, artist-dentist. And after they are seated, we will start this round with Polly Bergen. Polly?
Number one, at the World's Fair in Brussels, a very famous American modernistic painter, artist, was hung upside down by accident. Could you tell me who that was?
About the accident?
Or on purpose, I don't know. Who was the artist?
I wouldn't know.
Number two, would you know?
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Number three?
I don't think so, no.
It was Motherwell. No, just because I didn't know anything about football. Number one, where is the Guggenheim Museum?
New York City, on 5th Avenue.
Could you tell me the location exactly?
I think it's about 83rd Street.
Number two, do you know?
I think it's a little farther up than that. I don't know the exact address.
Number three, what kind of...
Tom Poston.
Oh, thank you. Number three, could you tell me what is a cusp?
A what, please?
A cusp.
Cusp.
A cusp? I don't know. I don't think I know that.
You happen to know. It may not be very fair. It's a technical. Do you happen to know number two?
Well, I think you're abbreviating cuspid. Are you?
I'm not sure. Could you tell me, number two, what chrome means in reference to an artist's paint in a color? What does chrome refer to?
In the artist's color in the paint?
In a paint, in an oil, for instance.
Well, it puts a shine to it. I mean, I think that's all it means, putting a shine to a certain color.
Kitty?
But may I say that I think it's a lovely book, My Friend in Africa. It's really charming. Number one, do you know who Marion Preminger is?
Who wouldn't?
There you are.
I'll accept that. Number two, do you know the name of the young man who was working with Dr. Schweitzer, who was recently killed tragically in the Congo?
I don't remember his name, no.
Number three, where is Dr. Schweitzer's home in Switzerland?
Well, he lives most of the time in Lambaréné.
I know. Number one, where is Dr. Schweitzer's home in Switzerland?
In Switzerland?
Yes. Number two, where is Dr. Schweitzer's home?
No, his actual home is in Alsace. It's not in Switzerland.
In where?
Alsace, in France.
Don?
Number one, what is gouache?
Gouache.
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 Paint. Tempera.
Number two, when did oil painting start?
Oil painting?
Yes.
Oh, I think that is as old as history itself.
Number 3, do you have any, would you answer that the same way?
I would think rather around the Middle Ages.
Number 1, who started oil painting?
Oh, started Van Eyck's, actually, perhaps.
Number 2, what is the most common fault in the teeth and...
Well, that ran down, so before we find a cavity therein, please mark your cuspids, if you will, please. And vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All set, everyone? Tom, for whom did you vote?
I was so fascinated by the possibility that, I mean, the fact that Don knows who started oil painting that I... Pardon me, am I coming through to you now? Thank you. I voted for number 1. And quit fooling around.
I voted for number 1. Number 2 said bicuspid. I think there is such a thing as a... I don't know. I voted for number 1.
Don?
I also voted for number 1. Oil painting was started, I believe, in about the 15th century, and I think it was one of the Van Eycks that started it.
Polly?
Well, it's not fair because he said everybody should know Preminger, and I don't know who she is, which must be the reason why I voted for number 2. But number 1 didn't answer hardly anything, so I thought it was probably him because the real person never says anything. But I felt also that it was number 2, and I voted for him quite honestly. It wasn't, I'm not fooling around. It wasn't that I made the wrong mistake. I voted for him, and I'm wrong.
Good. All right. There we have it. We must all remember, please, that Polly thought Army was a pro football team. Now, let's discover which of these 3 gentlemen
Tattletale.
is the real artist dentist. Will the real Frederick Frank please stand up? Number 2. Thank you, sir. Number 2, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, please?
Yes, my name is Henry F. Kamler, and I'm Sales Development Manager for Lufthansa German Airlines.
Thank you, sir. And number 3, your real name and what you do, please.
My name is Gary Phillips. I'm with Globe Photos, and I produce picture stories for magazines.
Thank you, sir. And we had a smart panel this time. Only one incorrect at $250 for a total of $250 from Addison, and a gift package of all of the fine products from the makers of Addison. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Happy painting, happy drilling. Good night and good luck to you. This is the show where you can find out, in case you don't know, what Blanchard got when he got whatever it was that Davis did. Molly, what exactly was it that you saw Davis did?
Well, one of them throws and the other one receives, and I don't remember which one it is, but that's what it is. And when I said on a pro team, because I knew that they were very famous, and then I remembered that it was Army, and I thought the Army was a profession.
Well, there you have it. And so we go. Our time is gone. Only time to say good night to you, panel.
Good night.
Good night,
And don't forget to vote tomorrow and then watch CBS cover the election returns and see how your vote counted one way or the other. Bud Collier saying good night from Addison and reminding you to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production in association with the CBS Television Network.
This is Douglas Edwards. Tomorrow is Election Day. Be sure to vote for the candidate of your choice, then see your vote count in television's fastest election night returns here on this channel.
This week's show has been brought to you by Sleep Ease, the non-narcotic sleeping tablet. Sleep Ease for a good night's sleep. Johnny Olson saying good night from To Tell the Truth. This program was pre-recorded.